Hi there. One of our favorite ways to show our appreciation to our members is to have special grand opening previews for our new exhibits, like Roo Valley that opens soon. You might remember in the past we had fun times at the Indoor Gorilla Center and even Hippo Cove a few years ago. But of course 2020 is different and we can't really bring you to Roo Valley, so we'll bring the grand opening celebration to you. Stick with me, we're going to go on a special tour and you'll see the inside scoop on what it takes to build this great new exhibit. The first thing you'll notice when you walk over to Roo Valley is Hops, our brand new beer garden and cafe. You can get specialty food and craft beers from our local brewers. The beer garden itself is a phenomenal experience, shaded areas, socially distanced picnic areas, and a fun place to visit any time of the day. Now a highlight of this tour is to meet with Mark Fisher. He's our Vice President for Sustainability and Planning, the man who made us the greenest zoo in America, and we live that out every day. Wait till you hear all the sustainability parts built into Roo Valley.
So at Roo Valley, sustainability, as with all of our projects, is a big deal. So every time we build, we try to build it in a way that lowers our footprint on the earth and lowers the impact on our wallet. So at Roo Valley, there's a few very interesting, pretty cool projects within the project that you'll appreciate now that you know about it as you walk through the exhibit. One, on the energy side, is you walk through the Kangaroo side of Roo Valley, you're walking on a very large geothermal well field, just like we have at the main entry and just like we did at Painted Dogs. So what that means is we drill 300-foot holes down into the ground, and we use that as an opportunity to capture the constant temperature of the earth to help us heat and/or cool the pool water in the buildings, which cuts our energy bills roughly in half. So we're big fans of geothermal technology, and this is our third major installation. So that's pretty neat. The other big one that has several components to it is rainwater and stormwater and just water usage in general. So when you come to the zoo, come to Roo Valley, the penguin water, the waterfalls themselves as well, which is a different, actually a different body of water, and gorilla are all fed from collected rainwater. So the Roo Valley exhibit captures about 4 acres of water, of rainwater. And like we've done in Africa, and we take that water, we clean it, and we introduce it into these bodies of water. So it basically cuts our water usage down to 0. So, and it's exceptionally clean water. So there's nothing in it, no chlorine, nothing. So it's great for the animals, and it also keeps all that rainwater out of the combined sewers. Another technology we used as far as how we manage rainwater is these green roofs. We are literally standing on top of a major green roof. We're on top of the penguin holding facility in the penguin filtration building. So the nice thing about this is all the rainwater that would normally hit a relatively hard roof and then get diverted straight into the combined sewers through downspouts, 99% of it gets absorbed into the green roof. So not only does it look beautiful, it's just a good use of space, and it's all pollinator friendly and native plants. It just helps with the aesthetic of the facility. It slows the rainwater down. So we slow it down, then we grab it, then we clean it, and we introduce it into other facilities around the zoo. So as is always the case, water is a big, big deal at the zoo, and how we manage it and how we show it. And between the energy projects, you know, LED lighting, super efficient pumps, the geothermal wells, and the rain capture systems, you can see how this significant footprint, this 4-acre facility, we're able to develop this in a way that has a very, very, very low impact on our use of natural resources, and will be a big part of keeping our costs down. So it's a win-win for the zoo all the way around.
As you walk down this entryway to Roo Valley, you might not recognize that it's the old entrance to Wildlife Canyon, which was the most threadbare part of the zoo. This whole exhibit will be so different you might not recognize where you are. For perspective, right over here is where our Sumatran rhinos lived for 25 years before we sent them back to Indonesia. As we head in, of course, we hit the highlight of the exhibit, the thing that put the Roo in Roo Valley, our Kangaroo Walkabout. We're going to get a tour with Christina Gorsuch, and she'll introduce us to our new residents.
Hey everybody, welcome to Roo Valley. We are in the Kangaroo Walkabout with our kangaroos behind us back here exploring their new habitat. We created a kangaroo nirvana of a habitat for them We have red kangaroos and western gray kangaroos. There's actually multiple species of kangaroos in the continent of Australia. They are a marsupial, which means they develop in a pouch. And here at Roo Valley, we just have male kangaroos, but they are the most different looking. So we thought you guys would really enjoy getting to see the male red kangaroos and the male western gray kangaroos and all the differences and the features between them. When you come to visit us, you'll be able to see the red ones, no surprise here, have red fur on their backs. They have much bigger faces that are kind of square. They got strong jaw lines. And they're the traditional kangaroo that you see in movies, you know, Crocodile Dundee or whatever it might be. That's usually a red kangaroo you see. They can be up to 200 pounds and almost 6 feet tall when they're using that big tail of theirs to stand up as tall as possible. That tail works as a little bit of a tripod and gives them balance when they're jumping and running. It lets them move very quickly, but then also when they're on guard and need to seem as big as possible, it kind of pushes them up as tall as they can get with that big tail. So those are our red kangaroos. Our western gray kangaroos are from the southern part of the continent. They can be around 150 pounds, the males, but they have a darker gray fur and they have a really heavy brow ridge. They always look like they're very concerned a little bit. And that's because of where they are located on the continent. They need to be able to generate more heat and keep themselves warmer. So their features are reflective of that. So starting out here in the Kangaroo Walkabout, we have a path that's just for the humans, although the kangaroos might sometimes take turns using it. But we developed a habitat that has all sorts of different hills and valleys, shady areas, warm areas. You'll see piles of sand, a shallow pool, all sorts of different features that the kangaroos can utilize to feel safe and secure. They are in general very friendly animals, so depending on when you're here and how crowded it is, they might hop fairly close to come check you out and see what you're about. We are not doing feeding in here because the kangaroos are so friendly. We're pretty sure they'll come up fairly close and take a look at the humans that are sharing their space with them. We also have a lot of plantings here. The plantings are for shade, but they also provide some treats and snacks for the kangaroos. Kangaroos are grazers, which means they mostly eat grass, but sometimes they'll nibble on trees and bushes. So you might see them eating while you're in here, but we aren't going to be feeding them anything by hand.
The other highlight featured in Roo Valley is Australian penguins. That's right. The little blue penguin is the smallest species of penguin in the world. They come from southern Australia and Tasmania. You're going to love seeing these guys. You might remember them. They used to live in the Children's Zoo. The Cincinnati Zoo has the biggest group of little blue penguins anywhere outside of Australia. And with this new facility, we'll be able to grow them. So now come along, we're going to meet Ricky Kenley, one of the penguins' keepers and the lead researcher, as we learn more about their habits.
Hi, I'm Ricky, and this is our new little blue penguin habitat here at Roo Valley. We have 34 of these little guys here. As you can see, they're very inquisitive little animals. They have quite a bit more space here, more water features, a nice beautiful beach here with nice sand, some heating elements. These guys like to congregate. They're quite noisy, and they seem to be enjoying exploring their new environment, which is really fun and really cool to see them. So one of the things is it's about 3 times larger than the previous habitat. Also, one of the really cool things about this habitat is we have radio frequency identification antenna all throughout the habitat that reads where they are. So we can tell how the animals are interacting with this space when they're going in and out of doorways, when they're entering or exiting the pool, how much time they spend swimming. This is unique as far as any penguin area in the world. And that's really, really exciting. When we did our preliminary experiments with the technology, we discovered that our penguins were swimming at night. Well, this new area is meshed over so we can allow them to stay out at night now. That's something we couldn't do before. And so they can now experience swimming in this space at night or coming out and safely do that. So that's one of the really, really exciting aspects of this. The plan is for a person to be able to log into a website and you'll be able to see individually how much swimming your particular penguin does. If you want to pick out a favorite penguin, you'll be able to see how often they swim, where they go throughout their space. And this is very, very new. The keepers will be able to do that as well. We'll be able to monitor activity levels of those birds and even other creative new ways that we haven't even thought of before. We're looking forward to how we'll be able to manage our animals and figure out how they use the space. And we'll be able to add some enrichment to it and see where they utilize their enrichment, how much they swim, when they swim. As you can see, they're very inquisitive. They come along. They like to be together with each other. They're enjoying the sand. Where they're from in New Zealand and Australia, obviously there's beachy areas that they live in. They'll have a lot of access to sand, so they can dig in that if they want to. These two rocks are heated rocks. So if it's a little bit cooler in the spring and fall, they'd be able to snuggle up against those and stay warm. We have some other heating elements here that mimic warmth from the sun, even on overcast days or cooler days. Our pool is heated as well. We have some turbulent wave generators in the pool that makes the water more interactive. So we've already seen them interacting with that space where they'll swim into the current and you can see them speed up. And so that makes it a varied experience for the animals and causes them to exercise their swimming muscles a lot better. So the one thing that's different about this is underwater viewing. We didn't have that before. And this is really, really cool to be outside and then be able to see them underwater and swimming around and see how they use their muscles. Penguins are known to, they don't fly, but they fly underwater. They use the exact same motion underwater as a flighted bird. And so that's another thing that's going to be really, really cool to be able to see, a very large pane of glass to view them. And this is beautiful, just, you know, a mimic of a beach, as you can see, as it grades back up to their space. They have a large indoor pool as well, way larger than before. So it's really nice on days where they aren't allowed to be outside due to weather or whatever. They'll be able to still spend a lot of time swimming in there. And we have RFID antenna in the inside pool as well that we'll be able to monitor how much swimming they do inside as well. So there's just a major upgrade for what we had before.
Naturally, at the Cincinnati Zoo this year, we're doing everything we can to promote social distancing, mask wearing, and keeping everybody safe. So one part of Roo Valley that we'll have to wait for spring is our Kanga Climb ropes course. This is a true adventure ropes course. You'll be 40 feet off the ground. There are more than 40 different elements and challenges you can do, but it is indeed unique. I've never seen an adventure ropes course where on the upper level, it's wheelchair and stroller accessible. It's part of our Access for All program, where the zoo's very dedicated to making sure the zoo can be reached by all families. And we're waiting to open it to make sure we can figure out how to keep it safe with sterilization and that nobody's having any risk of the coronavirus. So look forward to this next spring. This whole expanse of Roo Valley is an important part of our More Home to Roam campaign. We're dedicated to give our animals the best life they can have. So whether it's little penguins or kangaroos, they have much more space than they've ever had at the Cincinnati Zoo. Next is our African penguin exhibit that opens this fall. It's in our old sea lion area, but those animals that used to be cramped in Children's Zoo now have a world-class facility. And from there it's on to elephants. We're removing all the cars from the back safari parking lot and filling that 5 acres with a multi-generational elephant herd, and we're going to bring back elephant breeding as well. As you head up and out of Roo Valley, you'll notice two things. The first is we got rid of the steps, which used to be right here, and were a terrible inconvenience if you had a stroller or a wheelchair. And the other is the gardening, the waterfall, and how beautiful it is. It used to be an ugly part of the zoo, and now it's absolutely magnificent. So we look forward to your visit soon to experience all this. I'll look for you down here at Roo Valley.